Apparel Forum is highlighting the need for conferences like this and where people can have in-person, face-to-face, heart-to-heart conversation. There is a need for more resilient supply chains with all the challenges that we're facing. Coming out of the pandemic, the climate crisis ahead of us, a geopolitical pressure on all of us, as well as an economic recession. I have been able to travel a bit in the past few months and did meet some different stakeholders. Particularly the manufacturers are expressing to me how challenging for them is to just make a living. And while this is happening, we know that the demands for, and we also, I think, agree to the fact that more sustainable production is what is the next step and what's needed. One of the big drivers, and I've seen it also on your program, is the upcoming legislation, for instance, the human rights due diligence legislation as presented by the European Commission. So in all of this, how are we going to start with that? Golden question, but one of the critical elements we believe is that there should be a reduction on audit fatigue because we just simply can spend our resources wiser. So SLCP is one of the programs where we converge, harmonize, and through that we are able to save resources and redirect them, as well as create a single robust set of credible and actionable data that can be shared in a safe way with different stakeholders and for multiple purposes, including remediation, but also for different brands and manufacturers to also comply with due diligence requirements. So, as said, we've made progress with that in terms of scale. More than 10,000 facilities worldwide have now started with this system. And Bangladesh is one of our focus countries. And we have a strong foothold there, despite we only started a couple of years ago. We are seeing and hearing firsthand from the factories that they are seeing the benefits of it. So really more efficiency and an ability for them to reallocate resources, staffing, money into training, capacity building, etc. So extremely encouraging. And with this also, we are in discussion to really see how we can jointly work on this, as it is so much needed these days. So feel free to reach out to me in case you'd like to have more information. Wishing you really good sessions and hope to be there myself next year. Thank you. Bye.
Ladies and gentlemen, the 4th edition of Sustainable Apparel Forum is organized by Bangladesh Apparel Exchange in collaboration with Lotus Foundation. Thanks to Lotus Foundation and thanks to our valued title sponsor KDS Group, Platinum sponsors PDS Limited, Gold sponsors Epic Group and Noise Jeans, Silver sponsors Better Work Bangladesh, International Labour Organization, Bronze sponsors Water Aid, Good Fashion Fund, Oxfam in Bangladesh and Eastern Bank Limited for partnering with us. Your valued support has made this initiative possible. Valued participants, free Wi-Fi facility has been organized for you at this venue. You can use free Wi-Fi using username SAF2023 and password SAF2023. Please scan the QR code on the tent card on table to download an e-brochure of this conference or program agenda. Ladies and gentlemen, now we will have a presentation on YKK's Sustainability Vision, YKK's Action Plan for a Sustainable Future. This segment will be presented by Ms. Asako Yoshioka, Vice President of Sustainability Department of YKK Corporation. Duration of this presentation will be 10 minutes. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Ms. Asako Yoshioka for her presentation.
Thank you. Hi, good afternoon, everyone. I'm Masako Yoshioka of YKK, and I'm in charge of sustainability at the Japan headquarters. And it's my great honor to be here today. And I'd like to introduce about the YKK's sustainability vision and our action plans for a sustainable future. Oh. Okay. Well, YKK is zippers and the snap and button supplier, supplying company operating in very worldwide, like 72 countries and regions, of course, including Bangladesh. And the company philosophy is cycle of goodness. Well, it means, no one prospers without rendering benefit to others. And, others means, of course, people and society and the earth. So this is really about sustainability. And the sustainability vision is these 5 themes here: climate change and material resources and water resources and chemical management, and respect people. Well, about the climate change, we have signed on the UN Fashion Charter, and our 2030 goals were validated by SBT. That is, by 2030, in scope 1 and 2, 50% reduction. So this is for our production. And scope 3, 30% reduction. So this is for the supply chain. And that's from the basis year 2018. And we got CDP's A- score in the climate change 2022. Okay, this is the progress of the GHG emissions. We reduced GHG emissions by 49% last year. With all these initiatives here, like installing the solar power facilities at 29 group companies, and 100% renewable electricity at 26 plants, and developing PPA. And our renewable energy ratio is 57% of the total electricity consumption. Plus, we are investing a lot to our manufacturing process and our facilities to reduce our energy consumption. And this is for the other themes, like material. We are switching over to sustainable material products, and this year it's going to be like 44% of the total. And also we are working on the water waste recycling, and also sustainable packaging as well. Well, I don't have time to go to all the details here, but we are reducing and managing the waters and the chemicals. Well, for the water intake, we actually reduced by 12% last year. And for the respect people, we are doing internal and external audit to follow the all the global guidelines. It's actually already mentioned today's presentation. We have our own standard, a compliance standard called YGCC, and all YKK is following this. But at the same time, we are trying to we are covering the these global standards like ZDHC and heat index and blue science. And also we are a member of these groups to make more impact to, or in this industry. Okay, this is at last, but I like to mention about our products a little bit. We are focusing on the eco-innovation, and that's about the themes like circularity, and the recycled and natural fiber, and water saving, and the bio-based and eco-friendly metal finish. Well, this is just examples, but about the recycled, we are increasing the recycled PET zippers called Naturalon. And this year is 44%, but it's going to be 100% by 2030. And also the sustainable metal finish called acryloplating. Well, this is the very innovative plating. It does not need any toxic and less water and less energy. Okay, so well, sorry for being in rush, but if you're interested in more about YKK, please visit our website, ykkfastening.com, and also our digital showroom. Thank you so much for listening. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Dear audience, now we will have a presentation on building a sustainability supply chain through innovation. This segment will be presented to you by Ms. Sachi Doshi, Analyst Supply Chain from Fashion for Good. Duration of this presentation will be 5 minutes. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Ms. Sachi Doshi for her presentation.
Hi everyone, good evening. We're almost at the end of the day today, so I hope you're able to stay with me. But through this day, I've really enjoyed the conference. I've seen some amazing, insightful discussions that have happened so far. And we've also seen multiple approaches to how we can make the fashion and textile supply chain more sustainable. But today, I'm here to particularly talk about how we can build a sustainable supply chain through innovation. So I'm Sachi Doshi. I work as a supply chain analyst for Fashion for Good. Before I begin my presentation, I'd quickly like to introduce Fashion for Good. Fashion for Good is a global innovation platform. We're headquartered in Amsterdam with an overseas presence in Asia. We started out in 2017 with the help of the Loudest Foundation as a pre-competitive space for the various industry stakeholders to come together and really decarbonize the supply chain through the help of innovation. In the last 5 years, we've scouted supply chain innovations right across the supply chain, right from raw material processing, production, to end of use and various technologies that happen along the supply chain. And through the scouting of these innovations, we've developed a proprietary landscape of understanding what are the technologies that currently exist in the market. These are some of the partners who've really supported us through this journey. We've been lucky to have some major brands and manufacturers work with us together in this particular journey and really come together and provide their view and speak on behalf of the various different aspects and stakeholders of the textile industry. So, just starting off with a quick graph, which I assume most of the people in this room must have seen. When we talk about the supply chain and when we talk about the major hotspots of emissions across the supply chain, we can see that a majority of them are made up by Tier 3 and Tier 2 production, which is raw material and processing. So this raw material processing and production is not only limited to fibers or fabrics or trims, it involves essentially all of the materials that we're currently using. And these are some of the biggest areas of impact currently in the textile and apparel supply chain. But what we've also seen is that the biggest areas of impact are also the most difficult to unpack. When we see so much innovation coming forward in these areas on one hand, we also see the various challenges that these innovators face in being able to scale and implement their technologies in the supply chain over here. But there is still a huge amount of solutions that are coming up. There's various innovations from the grassroots level right up until corporate innovation that is taking place, which is the good news. And as we can see over here, we've supported 159 innovators in the last 5 years. Some of them that are also present in this room. We had Spinova, who spoke earlier in the day today. We have SmartX, who's actually presenting outside in the booth, as well as Reverse Resources. Each of these innovators have come up with technologies that can be implemented in the apparel supply chain. And out of these 159, around 48, which makes roughly 1/3 of our innovators, have been able to commercially implement their technology and generate revenue from the textile and apparel supply chain. And they've also been able to create a total of 180 implementation cases across these verticals. While we acknowledge the successes, it would be remiss if I didn't talk about the challenges or the missed opportunity that exists over here. When we do have successes, we also need to understand the various challenges that these innovators have faced or are facing in terms of implementing their solution in the supply chain. Innovations will never scale if they're not integrated with the corporate machine. So far, innovations, the validation of innovation, the piloting of innovation usually happens between brands and innovators, and suppliers really come in at a later stage, and there's not enough data that's passed on to them. And that is really harmful to the scaling of innovation, and it really slows down the acceleration towards decarbonizing the industry, because suppliers do not have the right data to be able to make these decisions. They are not empowered enough to understand more about what this space actually looks like. Building on that, because Fashion for Good is positioned in a place where we are trying to unite the global ecosystem of brands, manufacturers, and innovators, we've been lucky enough to gain feedback from all of the various industry stakeholders to understand what are the various challenges that they're facing in terms of implementing innovation. If I may start with a supplier perspective, number one, suppliers don't have access or even knowledge about the various kinds of innovations that exist in the industry. The only innovations that they're exposed to are usually through bigger solution providers, and that's a very limited amount of knowledge that they're exposed to. Secondly, and this is something that has been alluded all throughout the day in various panel discussions, is that suppliers also face a disproportionate risk while having to adopt these technologies. And that risk or that onus of adopting these technologies should not lie just on a supplier itself. From an innovator perspective, they are not able to identify who are the right suppliers or who is the right fit for them in the textile and apparel supply chain. And because of this, and because suppliers are very often left out of the validation aspect of innovation, we realized that what we really need to do is identify and underpin the supplier's role in this particular supply chain, in this particular acceleration of innovation. Suppliers need access to vetted technologies. They need access to technologies, and they need the data that can prove that there is a particular ROI that exists. They need to understand what is the technical fit, and this cannot be achieved just with the help of an innovator or with the help of a supplier or with a brand. They need different stakeholders in the industry, like engineering firms, consulting firms, to come together and support them in understanding what is the technical fit an innovator has in a particular supply chain. What is the impact of actually adopting these technologies? Are you adopting, and this is something I was discussing with somebody who was a speaker yesterday, and they said, are you adopting innovation for innovation's sake, or are you actually solving a problem? And that's the sort of information that manufacturers need to know before they move forward. From brands, suppliers need their key buyers. As you must also know that quite often a supplier, majorly, even though they work for different brands, they have 2 to 3 brands that make up a huge chunk of their revenue. We need these brands to come forward and signal some intent or commitment in the form of offtake agreements to come and support these suppliers in the adoption of these technologies. And on the basis of all of this feedback that we've received, we decided to build a targeted approach for suppliers known as the Strategic Supplier Initiative. As you can see, as Fashion for Good, we really have access to all of the market-ready innovators, and we have a huge partner group that exists currently. We really now want to understand how we can support suppliers further in implementing these innovative technologies. And the first aspect of it is the education, the introductions to these various innovations that exist in the market, the access to the validation results results in terms of what were the results out of a particular pilot. And that's something that we really want most suppliers to be able to gain access to. The next steps include, of course, feasibility through commercial, technical, and impact assessment procedures, and access to financing. We want to support suppliers with a landscape of the different organizations that are working in the financing space, some of whom we've heard from earlier in the day, like the Good Fashion Fund and the Apparel Impact Institute. And of course, lastly, we need a localized operational support because adopting innovation comes with a mighty variety of challenges, especially local challenges, and that's where you really need the localized operational support. In the end, all I would like to say is we really need to build a system where they have acknowledgement and a shared responsibility, a shared risk, and a collaborative approach amongst all of the various stakeholders and doesn't fall on the shoulders of just one stakeholder. So I'll be here. If you want to get in touch with me, please feel free to send me an email or meet me over here. But thank you for having me. This has been a lovely forum. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Ladies and gentlemen, now we will have a summary note on today's conference and the discussion. This presentation, Take Action Now, segment will be presented by Mr. Morten Lehmann, CEO and founder of Tailwind. With a round of applause, please welcome Mr. Morten Lehmann for his presentation.
So I was just asked by a journalist just before what my expectations were for this conference. And one thing I didn't expect was that there would be that many people left at this late time of the day. So I think that's a great kudos to the team behind this conference, that you've all stayed for so long. That is a rare sighting globally at any conference. So thank you, all of you. So I'll start by apologizing. I can in no way do everything that was set up here justice today. I will try to summarize it, but it's pretty difficult. But let me give it a go. So I think what we started out by saying here was that the story of the industry is a development paradox. It was created by brave business people, but also created by women. And we are here today, have achieving amazing stuff, but we are also at a juncture, at a critical juncture where we can have a say in what the next chapter will look like. And what will success look like? Will we measure success with the same metrics that we've used to measure success for the last 10, 20 years? Or do we have to look at metrics that also represent the new world we have to navigate, which are looking into a world where biodiversity crisis, climate crisis, is not a thing of the future, it's happening right now, and the consequences are being seen right now. So I think we have to revise how we look at success. Maybe we also have to revise when we talk about the business case, which was also something that was mentioned. What is the business case? Do we measure that return on investment in the same way we've always done, or do we need to look also at different metrics there for measuring that success? We also talked about what our personal responsibilities are. We shouldn't just sit here and wait for government. We shouldn't also just wait for that perfect solution. We are in a hurry. We saw several of the numbers. We're pretty close to 2030. We see the trajectory we are on with CO2 emissions, so we need to act now. And we need all of the actors, all of you in the room, all the different stakeholders that start acting now. That perfect solution that we're dreaming about, it might not be there. So we have to do what we can do and do it already now. It was said that there are no passengers on planet Earth. We are all crew and we all have a responsibility. And it was also said that we all have a responsibility, it's all the stakeholders, but also we can't do it in silos. Many of the problems we have today are based on us working in silos. So for many years in the history of mankind, this was progress. As scientists, we put things into smaller and smaller silos and we could understand how it worked. Now we are realizing that we lost sight of how things are interconnected. We are now realizing more and more that biodiversity is not there just because we value the animals, it's because it's vital for the economy. So I think that holistic way of thinking, bridging silos, is valid not only for our connectedness to the world and nature, it's also how we work in companies. We cannot have sustainability people working in silos, disconnected from branding, from business, from management. So we have to bridge some of those silos, and we need to learn to speak the same language. Because sometimes, and I know it as a sustainability professional, I will speak a language which is not understood because I speak and use all these abbreviations. So we need to all come together and speak a common language where we can drive it forward together. I think also we need to look at how we lead our companies. It was also discussed today. I think with the challenges coming ahead of us, we need to look at how we lead our companies and look at that and see if that really reflects the challenges of the world. There was a quote from the dear Einstein who said that, if I can find it here, we cannot solve our problems with the same level of thinking that created them, right? So we need new ways of thinking. What else? We talked about how yesterday's best is not good enough for tomorrow. So amazing stuff has happened here in Bangladesh. We can't rest on our laurels. We need to think about what is the best new thing for Bangladesh in the future. And the same thing with sustainability. What used to be best practice is now only compliance, and we expect much more. So it's an evolving journey. That line is a moving target, and we all need to get on that train and be on it to make sure that Bangladesh stays on that good trajectory that we're on. Then we talked a lot about circular economy, whether or not the policy is there, and then saying, hey, we really need the business case. And there was a great discussion on what is needed to accelerate circular economy in Bangladesh. Is it regulation? Is it an enabling environment? Is it entrepreneurship, closing the loops? I think what was said and what came out, that all the stakeholders are needed to close that loop. No one player can do that alone. We need many different players to close the loop and different resources. Everything from infrastructure to science to finance, brands, manufacturers, they all need to work hand in hand to close the loop, and also we need to manage expectations. What can we achieve with circularity? What can we not achieve? Then it was talked about also that circular economy can be the next competitive advantage for the industry and for the country of Bangladesh. And of course, for that reason, I'm happy that we have launched the conference that will take place on the 15th of June on circular economy in Bangladesh. We also talked about what is the alternative cost of linear. Sometimes you always look at the business case for doing something, but what if we continue with a linear business model? What's the cost of doing that? And compare that to the cost of circularity, but also the general cost in sustainability, because they do come at a cost. We also learned from the Sustainable Apparel Coalition about their decarbonization program and how they can convene to create the synergies that are needed. And SSC made it very clear that they are here to help. Then we had a panel on green funding, and it was very clear from all the financial institutions that were there that they're here to help. So I think there was a big cry from them to say, come to us, we are here to help and play our part in that path to net zero. And then from Oxfam, who was also part, they also said that the importance, sometimes we are so focused on the future generations and how they will judge us and to create that nice future for our kids. But I think there was a great comment from Oxfam saying, creating that future for future generations cannot be at the cost of our present generation. So we need to look ahead, but we also have to look at the situation we are at right now and make sure that it is a just transition for the people who are living and working in our factories right now. Then there was a very interesting discussion on human rights due diligence, mandatory due diligence. How urgent is it? Is it urgent if you're exporting to the EU or not? I think for all of us, no, it's pretty urgent. I think it was refreshing to hear also this is not a new thing. It goes back to 1930 or even before. But of course, the new thing is that this will be turned into hard law. So that is where the big difference lies. And we talked about then how can we then make it into something that is not adversarial? How can we work together on this? And I think that becomes crucial for how we adopt human rights due diligence. So it doesn't become just another tick the box exercise like we've seen with many things in our industry and sustainability, but that it becomes a management practice. It becomes a way of running your business and a better way of running your business. We, of course, talked about how it can create a level playing field and that purchasing practices, of course, has to be part and parcel of a human rights due diligence also. Jasmine tweeted. I joked with Jasmine, how can I do this as soon as possible, as short as possible? Maybe I can just say that every fashion story is a worker story, because it is. And it's again that connectedness that sometimes we have this product, we forget about the story of the product all the way down from the cotton farmer to all the levels. I was at a conference a couple of years ago, and there was somebody who said, can we not stop talking about workers? Shouldn't we talk about artisans? Because sometimes the word workers doesn't really encompass the value. It's actually artisans who have created our products we're wearing. And I think maybe in the end, I think we just have to get used. I mean, we talked about this approach. It's gone from voluntary. The voluntary really didn't work. It didn't get us far enough to mandatory. And maybe this is business as usual. Navigating the unknown, which we're looking into, we are already seeing right now the consequences of climate crisis and how ill-equipped we are to manage these. I think leaderships need to look at, is your leadership really ready to navigate the unknown? Because this is coming, and it's not easy. So it needs a new way of leading, where you use all different kinds of skills in your company, not in silos, but working together. So I think we all need to buckle up, be prepared for a bumpy ride, but I think we can all make it if we work together. We are all needed. Everybody in this room are needed. Don't look for a silver bullet. I don't think it exists. But do look and see what all of you can contribute as individuals, but hopefully with the people sitting next to you. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. The fourth edition of Sustainable Apparel Forum is organized by Bangladesh Apparel Exchange in collaboration with Lotus Foundation. Thanks to Lotus Foundation and thanks to our valued title sponsor, KDS Group, Platinum sponsor, PDS Limited, Gold sponsor, Epic Group and Noise Jeans, Silver sponsors, Better Work Bangladesh International Labour Organization, Bronze sponsors, WaterAid, Good Fashion Fund, Oxfam in Bangladesh and Eastern Bank Limited for partnering with us. Your valued support has made this initiative possible. Valued participants, free Wi-Fi facility has been organized for you. Username is SAF 2023 and the password is SAF 2023 as well. Ladies and gentlemen, we are waiting for our closing ceremony guests to come. As soon as they do, we will start our closing session. Your patience in this regards will be highly appreciated. Thank you very much.
if you see how important Bangladesh is in the apparel garment industry globally, it's a vitally important part of that position that Bangladesh is also leading on the emerging agendas. So seeing Bangladesh leading on green technology, seeing Bangladesh lead on improving working conditions, as we've seen it lead on fire safety and building safety, is going to be vital.
Well, I've been coming to Bangladesh now for the third time, and I had the chance to also visit companies and factories here, and I was really absolutely surprised in a very positive way to see that there's so many technically advanced and sustainably working factories. So I think, unfortunately, also in Europe, Bangladesh has maybe still a bit of a negative image, and I could only empower people to come here and take a look themselves and see that the situation is really different, and there's many very encouraged workers, but also factory managers who are working on improving the situation and bringing Bangladesh to the highest production standards possible.
I believe Bangladesh factories are very transparent now. All the factories are, the audit reports are in the web. And any factory and any third party, whether it is auditor or a development partner or a buyer, can visit the factory, and they can go anytime and they can inspect. And this is a very, very transparent. Nowhere in the world the factories are transparent like this, and these factories are followed by very social compliant.
I think Bangladesh Apparel.
Ladies and gentlemen, we're proud to have amongst us Honorable Minister, Mr. Mohammad Tajul Islam MP, Ministry of Local Government, Rural Development and Cooperatives, Government of the People's Republic of Bangladesh. Thank you very much, sir, for gracing this occasion with your presence. We also have amongst us Honorable State Minister for Information and Communication Technology Division, Mr. Zunaid Ahmed Polok MP. Thank you very much, sir, for making time out from your busy schedule and being here with us today. Ladies and gentlemen, we're about to begin our closing plenary event. We have the kind presence of our chief guest, Honorable Minister, Mr. Mohammad Tajul Islam MP, Ministry of Local Government, Rural Development and Cooperatives, Government of the People's Republic of Bangladesh. Thank you very much, sir, for being here with us. We also have our guest of honor, Honorable State Minister for Information and Communication Technology Division of the Government of the People's Republic of Bangladesh, Mr. Zunaid Ahmed Polok MP. Thank you very much, sir, for giving your time here today. We also have our guest of honor, Mr. Mohammad Siddiqur Rahman, former President of BGMEA, Mr. Fazle Shamim Ehsan, Vice President of BKMEA and founder of Fotullah Apparels, and Mr. Tuomo Putiainen, Country Director of International Labour Organization. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome our honored speaker to take their position on stage. Requesting our chief guest, our guest of honor, to please come to the stage to take their seats. Thank you very much for taking your seats. Now I would like to request our first speaker of the session, our guest, Mr. Tuomo Putiainen, Country Director of International Labour Organization, to give his welcome speech.
Thank you, and it's truly an honor to be here today. And first I wish to, of course, recognize the Honorable Dais, Mr. Tajul Islam MP, the Honorable Minister of Local Government and Rural Development, Mr. Sunat Ahmed Palak, MP, Honourable Minister of Information and Communication Technology, and of course Mr. Siddiq Rahman, former President of PGMEA, and Mr. Fasli Shaming Ehsan, PKMEA. Honourable guest honors, representatives, everybody here today, I want to start by expressing my gratitude to the Bangladesh government, the employers and the private sector, and all of you here today for developing and investing so much in creating an increasingly equitable and sustainable Bangladesh. Over the years, we have been privileged, not only as ILO, but also the UN system, to work with many of you and participated in various initiatives in promoting what we at the ILO call decent, enumerative and productive work. I am personally awed by the transformations that have occurred in the industry and also the forwards-looking resolve, particularly in the garment sector and beyond, that the business community has spearheaded in developing the country. I want to thank the organizers of the Sustainable Apparel Forum, Mr. Vostafis and his team, for pulling together and bringing together all the key players for strengthening the collaboration in this forum to advance the Bangladesh apparel sector and also to reflect on joint priorities going forward. Today and yesterday, several distinguished speakers, panelists, and most importantly, you, the participants, have been sharing interesting views on pressing issues. These discussions are here to reflect on challenges and opportunities related to the industry, but also the transitions of Bangladesh to the LDC status to a middle-income country after 2026, and also meeting the SDG goals. If there is right time, now is the right time to have a shared vision and jointly put together strategic approach to build sustainable investment and trade, such that produces the right outcomes for the people and the planet, for the environment and the workers, while maintaining positive economic growth and business competitiveness. We appreciate the support and the partnership and the commitment for the work that we have done together, particularly in translating international labor standards and fundamental principles and rights at work, as well as the efforts on promoting quality and skilled employment for women and men in the RMG sector, but also beyond. So, how can we ensure that going forward, the businesses in Bangladesh and their partners continue to make positive contributions to decent work? We at the ILO believe that it can be done. It can be done through various means, and one of them is strengthened governance and dialogue. As you know, we at the ILO promote social dialogue as a tool for better and stronger collaboration among the government, the employers, and the workers. This at the national level, this as a sectorial level, and this at the enterprise level, where trade unions, participation committees, factory officials all contribute to a common knowledge sharing and problem solving. It is at the factory and the enterprise level where decent work needs to happen with a common understanding and purpose. We also believe that the quality and effectiveness of governance and enforcement institutions matter. They matter a lot in relation to building safety. They matter a lot in relation to fire safety. And they matter a lot in terms of occupational safety and health. They matter a lot when there are disputes and grievances. And they matter a lot when workers seek justice on issues that are big or small. This is why strengthening the government institutions, including the Labour Inspectorate, actually matters, because it allows to make workplaces safer. and it allows to having various ways of solving disputes, and it allows to have modern and effective labor courts. Secondly, what matters, and we have seen this very much here even today, is that the employers and the private sector continue to lead in these transformations, that they continue to maintain the commitments to have social compliance and betterment of working conditions. This is why we are working so closely as ILO with the private sector and the industries and the representatives of PGMEA and PKMEA here today. And this is why we are so proud to have the ILO IFC Better Work program that in a very practice way, in a very tangible way, is working to this direction and this effect. The results that we have achieved, we have all achieved together. They are not ILO's results, they are your results. So these continuing positive and forward-looking changes will be perhaps the best recipe going forward to address the issues of due diligence and expectations on the businesses that we have heard here today. I believe that while there are these increasing expectations on the business community, Bangladesh is very well positioned to indeed take advantage of them. Driving decent work together is possible because you already have done it and because you are already doing it. And let me give an example of that. Maybe the best and the most wonderful example is the establishment of the employment injury scheme in the RMG sector. This initiative was launched last year, and currently it is being rolled out in the industry. What is this initiative? Well, it is an initiative to modernize accident protection and compensation for all workers. It is something that has been developed by the government, by the employers, and by the workers together to really, in a tangible and real way, increase compensation of workers when accidents happen. And sometimes, we all know, accidents do happen. So I believe that while there are challenges and decent work deficits, with the progress made, Bangladesh is ready and in a good position to showcase preparedness to become an LDC graduating country with strong, responsive government institutions, with sustainable industries, and with respect to fundamental labor rights and space for employers and workers to dialogue and obtain positive outcomes for all. With that, in closing, the ILO will continue to partner with the government, employers and workers to continue to build that resilient, productive Bangladesh that is predicated on decent work. So thank you very much, and I look forward to the continuing collaboration with all. Dhanyabad.
Thank you very much, Mr. Tuomo Putiainen. Now I would like to request Mr. Fazle Shamim Ehsan, Vice President of BKMEA and founder of Fotula Apparels, to give his speech.
Thank you. Today's chief guest, Honorable Minister for LGRD. Today's special guest, Honorable Minister for ICT Department, Mr. Siddiqur Rahman, ex-President BGMEA, and my friend Tuomo Putiainen, Country Director ILO, distinguished guest, friends from media. Very good evening. Shubha Bikal. Assalamu alaikum. Actually, in closing plenary, there is not much thing to say, right? Only the thanks to Mustafiz for making such a nice event. And I don't want to take your time because for the whole day you are here. I'm sure that you are not bored, but you are exhausted because from the morning it's already almost 6 o'clock. So as you are here, but the one thing I would like to say that sustainable is a nice word. It's a buzzword for last couple of years we are talking about. as you mentioned correctly, what was before was the benchmark to reach, now is the normal thing. Like the compliance issues, now is mandatory, but once upon a time it was the benchmark for us to reach. So the benchmark is always changing, I know, but for the colleagues from the brands, I would like to request the manufacturing plant sustainable is very good, but the the ecosystem should be sustainable. It's not only the manufacturing plant, not only the product, the price should be sustainable also, because otherwise you see last couple of years we are really facing this type of problem for the pricing and the requirement. There should be some kind of what you can say consensus, right? Yeah, right, Musa is right. Your consensus for the requirement of our compliance and the ecological standard, because we have seen so many initiatives coming for the good things, but we are becoming afraid that it might become again like the compliance issues, that one buyer will come and say, you keep your fire in 5 feet, fire extinguishers, another buyer will come and say, no, you keep it 4.5 feet. So we don't want it. We want a consensus of among all the initiative, and that's why I again thanks to Mustafiz of Bangladesh Apparel Exchange to organizing such event. I think through this we will become, we can come to a point where we can start and where we can go. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Mr. Fazli Shamim Ehsan. Now I would like to request Mr. Mohammad Siddiqur Rahman, former president of BGMEA, to please come up and say a few words on this occasion.
Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. Sustainable Apparel Forum 2023. এটা অর্গানাইজ করার জন্য আমি মুস্তাফিজ সাহেবকে আন্তরিকভাবে ধন্যবাদ জানাই। আজকের এই ক্লোজিং সেরিমনির প্রধান অতিথি জনাব তাজুল ইসলাম, স্থানীয় সরকার ও পল্লী উন্নয়ন মন্ত্রণালয়ের মন্ত্রী, মাননীয় মন্ত্রী, এবং আমাদের মঞ্চে আরও উপবিষ্ট আছেন জুনায়েদ আহমেদ পলক, আইসিডি মিনিস্টার, প্রতিমন্ত্রী আইসিটি মিনিস্ট্রি। আরও উপস্থিত আছেন বিকেএমই এর ভাইস প্রেসিডেন্ট এহসান এবং টুমো, আমাদের দীর্ঘদিনের ফ্রেন্ড, আইএলও ডাইরেক্টর, কান্ট্রি ডাইরেক্টর। আমাদের স্বাধীনতার মাস, আমি গভীর শ্রদ্ধাভরে স্মরণ করছি যে যার জন্ম না হলে হয়তো আমরা বাংলাদেশ পেতাম না, আমরা স্বাধীন হতে পারতাম না, এবং আজকে এখানে দাঁড়িয়ে কথা বলার সুযোগও হয়তো পেতাম না। তাকেই আমি গভীর শ্রদ্ধাভরে স্মরণ করছি, বঙ্গবন্ধু শেখ মুজিবুর রহমানকে। তিনি আমাদেরকে একটি স্বাধীন দেশ উপহার দিয়েছিলেন এবং তারই সুযোগ্য কন্যা বর্তমান প্রধানমন্ত্রী, বাংলাদেশ আওয়ামী লীগের সভানেত্রী এবং বাংলাদেশের বর্তমান প্রধানমন্ত্রী মাননীয় প্রধানমন্ত্রী শেখ হাসিনা। তিনি তারই যে ভিশন ছিল, বঙ্গবন্ধুর যে ভিশন ছিল বাংলাদেশের জাতির মুক্তি এবং অর্থনৈতিক মুক্তি, সেই অর্থনৈতিক বাংলাদেশকে মুক্তি করে গিয়েছিলেন বঙ্গবন্ধু শেখ মুজিবুর রহমান, এবং অর্থনৈতিক মুক্তির পথে এখন আমাদেরকে অনেক দূরে এগিয়ে নিয়ে গেছেন আমাদের মাননীয় প্রধানমন্ত্রী শেখ হাসিনা। এবং তিনি সব সময় এই গার্মেন্টস খাতকে প্রাধান্য দিয়েছেন, যেটা আপনারা লক্ষ্য করেছেন যে আমরা যখন তাজরিন বা রানা প্লাজার মতো প্রবলেমগুলো ফেস করি, এরপরে যত রকমের সহায়তা করা দরকার তিনি কিন্তু করেছেন। রানা প্লাজা ধ্বংসের পরে আমরা যখন টেরও পাই নাই, তখনই কিন্তু আর্মিকে ডিপ্লয় করে দিয়ে উনি আমাদেরকে উদ্ধার করেছেন। আমি বলবো এই গার্মেন্টস সেক্টরকে আজকে এগিয়ে এখানে নিয়ে আসার জন্য তার অবদান অনস্বীকার্য। এটা শুধু আমি মাননীয় প্রধানমন্ত্রী করেছেন বলেই বলবো না, যেটা ফ্যাক্ট সেটা বলতেই হবে, স্বীকার করতে হবে। আমাদের দেশে অনেকেই বলে যে আমরা বায়ারদের চাপে পড়ে এই কাজগুলো করেছি। যে সাস্টেনেবিলিটির কথা আজকে সারা দিন ভরে আপনারা শুনেছেন বিভিন্ন প্লেনারি সেশনে, সেই কথা না বলে আমি বলবো যে এগুলোর পেছনে যিনি আমাদেরকে উৎসাহ জুগিয়েছেন, গত কয়েকদিন আগেও একটা বক্তৃতায় আপনি শুনেছেন যে উনি ব্যবসায়ীদেরকে কিভাবে মূল্যায়ন করেন এবং কিভাবে তাদেরকে উৎসাহিত করেন এবং সব সময় আমাদেরকে সহায়তা করেন। এজন্য আমি আন্তরিকভাবে আবারও ওনাকে ধন্যবাদ জানাই। ধন্যবাদ জানাইতে চাই সেই জন্য, যখন কোভিড আসলো, কোভিড আসার পরে যখন আমাদের মার্চ মাসে আমরা ফ্যাক্টরি বন্ধ করে দিলাম, আমরা তখন বুঝতে পারছিলাম না, দিশেহারা, তখন আমাদের দেশে কিন্তু কোভিড আসেনি। তারপরেও ফ্যাক্টরিগুলো সহ সমস্ত বাংলাদেশকে বন্ধ করে দিলেন। আমরা 24শে এপ্রিল আমার মনে আছে, আমি এবং আমার আগে যে সভাপতি ছিলেন বিজেএমির শফিউল ইসলাম মহিউদ্দিন, আমরা দুইজন ওনার বাসায় যাই, ওনার সাথে কথা বলি এবং সেখানে আরও উপস্থিত ছিলেন অনেকে। আমরা রিস্ক নিয়েছিলাম, বলেছিলাম যে আমাদের ফ্যাক্টরিগুলো খুলতে দিন, আমরা আমাদের ফ্যাক্টরিগুলোর দায়িত্ব আমরা নিব। এবং আপনারা দেখেছেন, লক্ষ্য করেছেন যে গার্মেন্টস খাত না, কোনো ইন্ডাস্ট্রি খাতে, শুধুমাত্র গার্মেন্টস না, সব ইন্ডাস্ট্রিতে কোনো জায়গায় কিন্তু আমরা শুনিনি যে কোনো শ্রমিক ভাই বোনেরা মৃত্যুবরণ করেছেন কোভিডের জন্য। হয়তোবা কোথাও কোনো অফিসিয়াল, হাই অফিসিয়াল এরা মারা যেতে পারেন, কিন্তু আমি যতটুকু জানি বা যতটুকু খোঁজ রাখি তাতে আমাদের কোনো লোক কিন্তু মারা যায়নি। এবং এখানে আরও ধন্যবাদ দিতে হয় আমাদের শ্রমিক ভাই বোনদেরকে, যারা আমাদের এই ইন্ডাস্ট্রিগুলো খোলা রাখার পরে এই কোভিডের ভয়ের মধ্যেও কিন্তু তারা রেগুলার ফ্যাক্টরিগুলো চালাতে আমাদেরকে সাহায্য করেছেন। সেজন্য আমি আমাদের শ্রমিক ভাই বোনদেরকে আন্তরিকভাবে ধন্যবাদ জানাই। আপনারা সবাই জানেন যে আমরা অনেক দূরে এগিয়েছি। রানা প্লাজার পরে আমাদের যে ইন্ডাস্ট্রিগুলো আজকে প্রায় গ্রিন ফ্যাক্টরি 192টি এবং পাইপলাইনে আরও অন্ততপক্ষে 200-র উপরে আছে ফ্যাক্টরি যারা গ্রিন করতে চাচ্ছেন। কিন্তু বায়াররা কি আমাদেরকে সেই প্রাইস দিচ্ছেন এই গ্রিন ফ্যাক্টরি করার জন্য? আমরা এই যে কোভিডের মধ্যে তাদেরকে অন টাইম শিপমেন্ট দিলাম, সব কিছু করি, কিন্তু আমরা কি পাই? এই সাস্টেনেবল প্রাইসিংয়ের কথাটা কিন্তু কেউ বলে না। আমরা আশা করব যে সাস্টেনেবল প্রাইসের কথাটাও একটু বায়াররা যদি মনে রাখে তাহলে ভালো হবে এই দেশের ইন্ডাস্ট্রি। আমরা শুধু গার্মেন্টস খাতকে মনে করি যে গার্মেন্টস খাত আমরা অনেক দূরে এগিয়ে গিয়েছি, কিন্তু আমাদের এখানে কিন্তু সাস্টেনেবল আপনার ফার্মাসিউটিক্যালসও আছে যেগুলো FDA অ্যাপ্রুভড। আমাদের এখানে চা শিল্প, আমাদের এখানে চামড়া শিল্পের অনেক ভালো ফ্যাক্টরি আছে যারা বিদেশে রপ্তানি করে রেগুলার। আমাদের এখানে গ্রিন ফিল্ড একটা বাংলাদেশ, যেখানে আপনারা দেখেছেন এই মাত্র কয়েকদিন আগে FBCCI একটি সামিট করেছে, সেখানে প্রায় 100টি দেশের উপরে লোক এসেছে এবং তাদেরকে দেখেছি তাদের কত আন্তরিকতা এবং ইচ্ছা বাংলাদেশে ইনভেস্টমেন্ট করার জন্য। সেটা কিসের জন্য? শুধুমাত্র কি বাংলাদেশের জন্য তা না, বাংলাদেশে সাস্টেনেবল ইন্ডাস্ট্রি করা যায় এবং মাননীয় প্রধানমন্ত্রী 100টা ইপিজেড করে দিয়েছেন আমাদেরকে, ইকোনমিক জোন করে দিয়েছেন। সেই ইকোনমিক জোনে বিদেশিরা যদি ইনভেস্ট করে তাহলে তারা তাদের লাভের অংশ তারা কিন্তু ফেরত নিয়ে যেতে পারেন। সেই যে সুযোগ সুবিধা এবং তাদের এখানে ইন্ডাস্ট্রি করার জন্য যে সুযোগ সুবিধা আমরা দিচ্ছি, এই সুযোগ সুবিধা কিন্তু অন্য দেশ থেকে আমরা পাই না। অতএব আমি মনে করি যে আমাদের এখানে সাস্টেনেবিলিটি নিয়ে হোক, গ্রিন ফ্যাক্টরি নিয়ে হোক, আমরা রিসাইক্লিং হোক, যে কোনো জিনিসে আমরা কিন্তু বর্তমানে পৃথিবীর মধ্যে যে কোনো দেশের ইন্ডাস্ট্রির সাথে তুলনা করা যায়। ইভেন আমরা মনে করি কোনো ক্ষেত্র বিশেষে আমাদের ইন্ডাস্ট্রিগুলো, বিশেষ করে গার্মেন্টস ইন্ডাস্ট্রিগুলো অন্য দেশের থেকে অনেক ভালো। আমাদের কোয়ালিটি, অন টাইম শিপমেন্ট সব কিছু কিন্তু ভালো। সেই জায়গার মধ্যে আমরা একটা জিনিস পাচ্ছি না, সেটা হলো প্রাইসিং। কেন পাচ্ছি না? প্রাইস আমরা কম পাচ্ছি একটাই কারণ, সেটা হলো আমাদের লিড টাইম বেশি লাগে, আমাদের কোর র মেটেরিয়াল নাই, আমাদের ডিপসি পোর্ট নাই। সেই ডিপসি পোর্টের সুবিধাটাও কিন্তু আমরা কিছুটা ভোগ করছি এখন। আগে 9 মিটারের উপরে জাহাজ আসতে পারতো না, এখন কিন্তু 11 মিটার পর্যন্ত আসতে পারে। এবং আমরা আশা করি আগামী 2 বছরের মধ্যে মাতারবাড়ি যে আমাদের ডিপসি পোর্ট হতে যাচ্ছে সেটা হয়তো অপারেশনে চলে আসবে, তখন আমাদের লিড টাইমটা অনেক কমে আসবে। আর একটা হলো যেটা বাংলাদেশকে ব্র্যান্ডিং করা দরকার। সেই বাংলাদেশ আমরা ব্র্যান্ডিং হচ্ছি আমাদের গার্মেন্টস আমরা পাঠাচ্ছি, মানুষ জানে, বায়াররা আসে, কিন্তু দেশ বাংলাদেশ, মেড ইন বাংলাদেশ যখন দেখে তখন মনে করে যে এখানে সস্তা, কিন্তু লেবার কিন্তু সস্তা না। আমাদের দেশেও আমাদের লেবারদের এফিসিয়েন্সি অনুযায়ী তাদের বেতন এবং যার যেখানে যে দেশে যেরকম খরচ ঠিক সেই রকম কিন্তু স্যালারি। তা আমি মনে করি এই আমাদের এই আরএমজি খাত তথা আমাদের যে কোনো খাত, এগ্রিকালচার বলেন, অন্যান্য খাতে বলেন, অনেক দূর আমরা এগিয়ে যেতে পারবো যদি আমরা সবাই মিলে একত্রে কাজ করি। সেজন্য দরকার সরকারের সহযোগিতা। সরকার আমাদেরকে সহযোগিতা করছেন। এখন আন্তরিকভাবে ব্যবসায়ীদেরকেও সরকারকে সহযোগিতা করতে হবে এবং আমি মনে করি ব্যবসায়ীরা যদি সৎভাবে সরকারের কাছে যে কোনো কিছু চায় সেটা কিন্তু পেয়ে যাচ্ছে। তো সেই জায়গায় আমি বলবো যে আমাদের সবাই মিলেমিশে একত্রে কাজ করলে আমরা অনেক দূর এগিয়ে যেতে পারবো। আমি এখানে বেশি সময় নষ্ট করতে চাই না। আমাদের পলক সাহেব এসেই বলেছেন ওনার একটা প্রোগ্রাম আছে নর্থ সাউথ ইউনিভার্সিটিতে, তো উনি তাড়াতাড়ি যেতে চাচ্ছেন। তো আমি আপনাদের সবাইকে সারাদিন ধৈর্য ধরে এই অনুষ্ঠানগুলো করার জন্য মুস্তাফিজকে ধন্যবাদ জানাই এবং আপনারা যারা দর্শক এখানে উপস্থিত আছেন, যারা এগুলো শুনেছেন, তারা এগুলো নিয়ে কাজ করবেন। এবং আরও আমি মনে করি যে মুস্তাফিজ যদি এগুলো সব কিছু একত্র করে সারাদিনে যে আলাপ আলোচনার মধ্যে যেগুলো পেয়েছে সেগুলো যদি সরকারের কাছে প্লেস করে, কোনো জায়গায় যদি কোনো কিছু করার থাকে তাহলে অবশ্যই সরকার সেটা করবেন এবং সেখানে আমাদেরও যদি কোনো সহযোগিতা লাগে অবশ্যই সহযোগিতা করব। আমি আবারও সবাইকে ধন্যবাদ দিয়ে, মুস্তাফিজকে ধন্যবাদ দিয়ে আমি আমার বক্তব্য শেষ করলাম। জয় বাংলা, জয় বঙ্গবন্ধু। আসসালামু আলাইকুম।
Thank you very much, Mr. Mohammad Siddiqur Rahman. Now I would like to request our Honorable State Minister, Mr. Zunaid Ahmed Polok MP, Honorable State Minister for Information and Communication Technology Division of the Government of the People's Republic of Bangladesh, to please come up and say a few words on this occasion.
Thank you very much, Azra, for your kind introduction. First of all, I would like to pay my deep respect to the father of the nation, Bangabandhu Sheikh Mujibur Rahman, in this month of independence, who gave us freedom and also laid down the foundation of a modern Sonar Bangla. Honorable chief guest of this closing ceremony, Mr. Tajul Islam MP, Honorable Minister for LGRD, Mr. Mohammad Siddiqur Rahman, former BGMEA President, Mr. Fazle Shamim Ehsan, BKMEA Vice President and founder of Fotullah Apparels, and also Country Director of International Labor Organization, ILO, distinguished guests, friends from media, good evening to you all. When I entered into this room and when Honorable Chief Guest came, the first thing he asked me, so you are looking very different in this dress, because many of you know that every day in daily office work and political programs, I always wear pajama, Punjabi and Mujib coat with sandals. But when Honorable Chief Guest saw me in this casual trouser, denim jeans and also t-shirt with kids, he a little bit surprised. Let me explain why I have dressed like this for tonight. I don't want to give a long speech today because I have not that much knowledge in apparel sector. I am responsible for innovation, information, communication and technology, where we have some kind of connection with Sustainable Apparel Forum, where we can contribute in your agenda. So the main reason behind why I'm dressed like this today my t-shirt, you can see. How is my t-shirt? What is your opinion? It's good? Is it good? Okay. Am I good looking with this t-shirt? Okay. So this is from Zara, very international renowned brand. You all know, and many of you are supplying your products to Zara. And I have bought this. Actually, who invited me here and who connected me with SAF, Mr. Farhad, the founder of Mainspring, we both actually organized Golden Jubilee Bangladesh concert initiated by ICT division last year at Madison Square Garden in New York. So I actually bought this t-shirt last year from New York, but made in Bangladesh. So that is why I actually wear this t-shirt, and the trouser made of denim jeans I bought it from Dhaka, from Mohammadpur YOLO brand of Beximco. That is definitely manufactured and designed and made in Bangladesh. And the third one I would like to share with you, my shoes, my Kates. Actually, this pair of Kates, I bought it for my wife. And she wears these Kates in different programs. You can also check on my Facebook, then you can also find. So today I requested her to give this pair of shoes. And I took from her, because this Adidas Ultra 22, these Kates made of ocean plastic recycled materials. So we all know that we have three sources who are the backbone of our economy. That is A square E, the simple three major sources of our economy: agriculture, apparel, and expatriate workers' remittance. Now, after achieving and fulfilling, implementing Vision 2021, declared and envisioned by Honorable Prime Minister Sheikh Hasina back in 2008, over the last 14 years of time, under the proper guidance and leadership of our very young, dynamic leader, Honorable ICT Advisor to Honorable Prime Minister, Mr. Sajib Wazir Joy, we have developed our human resources who have basic IT knowledge. 2 million jobs we have created in IT and IT sector over the last 14 years of time. And then we have made high-speed internet available to the villagers, affordable to the low-income households and family members. And we have created awareness why people should use internet. And more than 2,000 government services we have made available online over the 52,000 websites in a single portal, and over the mobile application MyGov mobile app. Every month, 10 million people are getting digital services from physical 8,500 digital service delivery centers, and also from online portals and applications. We have tried to transform our services from inline to online. And then last is ICT industry promotion. If you talk about 14 years back, nearly only $30 million export earning we had, you'd be very happy to know that we have crossed $1.4 billion ICT export, and we have a target to reach $5 billion ICT export by 2025, and we would like to create 3 million jobs in this sector. So after achieving Vision 2021, Honorable Prime Minister Sheikh Hasina declared her new vision to make smart Bangladesh, where we have identified 4 pillars: smart citizens, smart economy, smart government, and smart society. I'm really happy to know that today you have discussed how you could reduce carbon emission from your factories, and we're really proud that we have more than 190 LEED certified green factories in our country, Bangladesh, which is largest number in the world. And we are really proud of that. But still, according to the McKinsey report and also some other reports, I was reading and studying that Bangladesh has huge potential to produce more than $1 billion recycled materials based products. And especially for knitwear, you all know that cotton is not necessary anymore. There are so many sources of materials from where we can produce our garment products, and especially sportswear. So I would like to request all of you that after handling this COVID crisis under the prudent leadership of Honorable Prime Minister Sheikh Hasina, unfortunately we have to face another global economical crisis, and I believe that if you could stand beside her, we'll be able to handle this global financial crisis, also this back-to-back 2 crises, we can handle if we work together and if we could take 3-pronged approach: government, industry, and academia. We need to work together to handle this crisis and also achieve this 2041 Smart Bangladesh vision. So last of all, I would like to offer you one research and innovation center where you can do some research. You can invite our local and global experts, researchers, inventors, and innovators to come and do some research, develop some innovative solution on IoT, data analytics, robotics, especially how you could develop recycled materials for your product manufacturing. I know that BGMEA has very renowned university, Bangladesh University, BGMEA University of Fashion and Technology. Under ICT division, we have introduced a new project, enhancing digital government and economy. Under that project, we have a plan to set up 10 research and innovation centers in 10 different universities. I would love to establish one research and innovation center in your BGMEA University of Fashion and Technology. Maybe $1 million we can contribute, allocate for that research and innovation center so that you can invite and accommodate your teachers, students, entrepreneurs, innovators to do research on frontier technologies and also develop our future products. So with this, I would like to conclude by mentioning 3 different my favorite quotations. One from Bangabandhu Sheikh Mujibur Rahman, Bangabandhu said 50 years back, we have two valuable assets. One is our people, another is our soil. You see, after 50 years of time, still we are realizing how true that prediction was. Second, architect of digital Bangladesh, Sajib was a joy, who said, I quote, find your niches, find new technologies, find your own innovations. Don't imitate, innovate. And last of all, we'd like to take collaborative approach. This is not the time to compete to each other, rather to collaborate to each other. Let me conclude my speech by mentioning one of my favorite quotations by Honorable Prime Minister Sheikh Hasina. Maybe many of you have heard the old proverb, if you want to go fast, go alone. If you want to go far, go together. But Honorable Prime Minister Sheikh Hasina took a very innovative approach, how she managed during COVID, life and livelihood together. At the same approach, she said, if you want to go fast and far, innovate together. Let's work together, innovate together to make the world a better and safer place for our next generations. Be innovative and smart. Joy Bangla, Joy Bangabandhu.
Thank you very much, Honorable State Minister, Mr. Zunaid Ahmed Polok MP. Your generosity is always appreciated. Now, I would like to request our chief guest, Mr. Mohammad Tazul Islam MP, Honorable Minister, Ministry of Local Government, Rural Development and Cooperatives of the Government of the People's Republic of Bangladesh, to please come up and say a few words on this occasion. Ladies and gentlemen, Honorable Minister.
Honorable State Minister, Mr. Zunaid Ahmed Polok, guest of honor of this occasion, Mr. Siddiqui, former President of the BGMEA, and other two special guests on dais, dear audience, distinguished foreign dignitaries, dear journalists. I express my thanks to invite me. In my starting of this piece, I want to remember with humble respect with the father of the nation, Bangabandhu Sheikh Mujibur Rahman, as he is the dream country of the father of the nation, Bangabandhu Sheikh Mujibur Rahman. He has a dream to eradicate the poverty and at the same time to scale up the country in the level of the developed country. But misfortunately, he did not been sustained and he was assassinated in the year 1975. But after that, the country did not get the chance to work in actually his directive role. In any way, about the garments industry, as I know, the garments industry, this sector have been started its journey 4 decades before. But by this time, garment sector, garments industry in Bangladesh has achieved a status and able to attract the sentiment of the global community that Bangladesh should be sustainable destination for the supplying or the collecting of the apparels and all apparel business communities. They are giving their attention about the Bangladesh as because by this time our private sector, those who have invested in the garment sector, for mitigation of all the problems of the garment sector and other, as because we have a goal to leave the country in the level of the developed country. So for lifting up to that level, actually we are the country, compared to many other countries, it is a very teeny size in terms of our territory. But we have a huge people. Density of the population is very high. So in one side, we have a high ambition and the people's aspiration has to be fulfilled. So how could do? This is one of the big options we have taken, because our private sector have come up, all the entrepreneurs. And governments feel to go support them. Now how could they support? They need all the logistics, that is communication system and electricity, energy, and law and order has to be ensured. So for doing all these things, government has given its full support from the side of the government. And in collaboration of private sector and government's initiative, nowadays, as Mr. Junabad Polak pointed out, that 170 lead certified factory is owned by Bangladesh. So it is, and so far I know, 500 factory already been applied for receiving lead certified factory as a lead certified factory. So this is actually pride for me. The country Bangladesh was submerged under poverty just 20 years back. But nowadays, the country in the global arena has achieved a such status by which Bangladesh could attack the sentiment of the whole over the world. So at this moment, not only from the government side, entrepreneurs those have invested, they have taken a lot of initiative. And from the government side, whatever logistic support is required, we are extending that support. And private sector, they are enjoying all this opportunity. In the same time, I want to point out one thing. Bangladesh demographic dividend is, compared to many other countries, is very high. Our about 67 to 70% of people is with working people and young generation. They can contribute. So, for not only garment sector, in any sector, Bangladesh, actually this could be the good destination for the global community to invest. Either it is a garments factory sector. Garments, whenever ready-made garments factory have been set up, later on, many backward linkage factory have been set up. Accessories, nowadays, so far I know, Bangladesh is actually achieving such status. The full support have been provided by them. And many good numbers of that textile industry have been set up with a big capital so that they can also meet the demand of the garments factories by ensuring the global standard quality. So, garment sector, and besides that, our peoples, according to my personal perception, peoples of Bangladesh is very hardworking, very submissive, and law-abiding. So this is another opportunity compared to the many other countries. Once we can use these peoples in any sector, whatever it is growing, that is, it is a garment sector, textile, or pharmaceutical, or electronics. And by this time, actually, everybody is aware. Bangladesh is covered by 100% internet connectivity. So the peoples, those who are, or the boys, girls, and young generation, whatever they are living in hilly area or coastal area or rural area. They are not out of the connectivity to acquire the knowledge. So outside everybody could be penetrated, whatever knowledge they want to acquire, they can do that. And cause of that, they make themselves, they are getting chance to make them competent to contribute. So I think that here I am watching few numbers of the foreign dignitaries, I think investors, and the apparel business related personnel. It is from my part, I will call you that this is a good destination, not for only apparel, for any other product at this moment. If anybody invests and facilitate the option to promote, I think this could be the good destination for the global contest. So at this moment, I like to say that all the communities, those who have arranged this occasion, and so far I know last 2 days you did a lot of sessions from where our local entrepreneur also get the chance to be knowledgeous for facing the next challenges and support to the global community. And within the collaboration of the foreign and local entrepreneur and the support of the government, I hope garment sector will be really good destination for the apparel business in global context. So thank you very much. Thank you for giving all this support and connected Bangladesh for your destination of the apparels and many others. Thank you very much. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Honorable Minister, Mr. Mohammad Tajul Islam, MP. And with that, we've come to the end of our plenary session. I would like to request our chief guest, along with our guest of honor, to please stand up for a group photograph. Thank you very much for being here with us. Ladies and gentlemen, as mentioned earlier, that our main focus this year is on circularity, zero waste, and sustainability within the apparel industry. I believe at the end of the day, after all the sessions, with everyone's support, this surely can be achieved. Ladies and gentlemen, the economy of Bangladesh is growing rapidly, and in this land of vast opportunity for businesses and entrepreneurs, there is also a growing need for making businesses circular. However, becoming circular requires a lot more than just aspiration. It requires a proper plan, knowledge sharing, and collaboration among cross-sectoral key stakeholders. That's why, to explore the prospects of a circular transition in Bangladeshi industry, we are pleased to announce two incredible upcoming events, the Bangladesh Circular Economy Summit and the Bangladesh Circular Apparel and Textiles Forum, both commencing on June 15th of 2023, right here at the Radisson. The first events of their kind focused entirely on building a circular economy in Bangladesh. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen, for your attention. We look forward to seeing you at the Bangladesh Circular Economy Summit and Bangladesh Circular Apparel and Textile Summit. It's time for us to wrap. I'm taking this opportunity once again